the most difficult decisions, if I had to like look back, turn around and like look back at my life, the most difficult decisions I ever had to make turned out to be the best ones to drive me in the direction I wanted my life to go. If that makes sense, right? Like the easy decisions never take me where I want to go.
Yeah. Tamika, we'll get you this right here. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, Tamika.
You know, we
shout out to Tamika who run the bar at Flavor Hills.
Before we jump back in though, you know, we got to give a toast. Me and start the show off for the toast. E and I have been on a kick this year, so all year we toasting to the same thing. So 2024, the year of the bag, the year of the bag. Before we took our break though, I didn't even take my sip. But before we took our break though, you were saying something interesting that caught my eye or caught my ear. Was you were mentioning that your natural state beforehand, before you started to elevate your mind and start to grow, was you used to view rich people as a bit snobbish, or you didn't view abundance a certain way. I think that's a natural thought for everyone. I think at one point I used to view things like that. So I'm interested to see your perspective on why you used to view rich people as snobbish before you really started understanding what's going on.
I really feel like it came from, this is the first time I'm ever thinking about this. So,
okay.
I think it came from me growing up around poor people and receiving love from poor people. And I just, felt that's where love came from. And then I guess the opposite end of that would be how rich people were viewed on like TV and movies, and me being poor, my interactions with rich people wherever, like, and me coming to a bigger city where rich people are moving around, or the airport or wherever, I just felt like they treated me a certain way because I wasn't in their class. So I'm sure that it probably was ingrained from one or two experiences, and I just locked on and held on to that. So I don't think it was anything that I learned. I think it was just something I observed as a small child, and I just held on to it as truth. So one, I never had a desire to be rich. Never had that desire before, because I didn't think that rich people were good people. So so that was never my like ultimate goal in whatever I was doing as a young, like teenager, young man, and starting my own business. I never thought about having abundance of money. Yeah, I didn't want to be associated with what I had associated money with.
Okay. And then, so got a follow-on question, all right? How do you believe that affected you, or that thought process affected you?
I think it made me place a limit on myself. It made me not want I don't know. I don't know how it had an effect on me. I think it still has an effect on me in a way, but I think it's more about, I think it's just a false perception of having things. So that might be why I'm not into material things or into nice things now, because of that, because I don't want to be viewed as whatever I created in my head. So, I think it affected me in that way, not having what I can have. Yeah.
So what I was going to ask is, how do you feel like your interactions with people who you would consider wealthier have changed since you've kind of changed your thought process on this?
I stopped seeing them as competition, one, and it made me, removing that like perception I had, made me more receptive to information and partnerships and networking, and it just opened another door that I had closed for a long time. So I think that's the main thing.
Did you realize, like, because I can relate to what you said completely. Like, me and Trust talk about it all the time. Like, I never grew up around rich people, didn't really know much about it. Like, I told him, like, growing up, I thought, I had new friends that were like managers at McDonald's, and I was like, oh, they made it. Like, that's the, they got the new shoes, and I'm like, oh, that's what it. And I realized later on, going to the Naval Academy, meeting people like him who's met different people on different levels, and I'm like, whoa, bro, there's really a different level out here of what's going on. Like, what I also realized is that the people I grew up with were never forthcoming with help. But on the other side, as long as you put in the work and show that you're actually trying to do what you do, I got help every time from that side. Have you experienced that?
I've experienced that 100%. Yeah, especially after that hold was removed from myself. I only experienced that from successful people, actually. So yeah, that like I was saying before about the love coming from family and people I grew up with. We grew up in like a certain tax bracket, so
yep.
I think I just got locked in that's where love is. And I'm like, and then once you go above that, it's like every man for themselves. So meeting y'all helped shift that perspective too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all are rich and y'all show hella love. So
it's one of the things that, like, because I struggle with that same perspective as well, right? And I had to pinpoint, I'm like, yo, where am I getting this thought from? Because every person that I met with money was cool. So where am I getting this negative thought from? And I'm like, yo, every movie I watch, the rich person's always like the same. He's a villain, or like he's super rich with all the resources. He's like, screw everyone else because of my money I get to. And I'm like, I've never actually, in real life, physically, I've met a lot of rich people. I've never once truly interacted with somebody who was similar to like a movie. Everybody was down to earth, super open to help. In fact, most people who are successful do it for the first time in their generation. So like, they're not actually looking to be disrespectful in any type of way. They're actually looking to help because they understand what it's like. I meet guys now, right? Like, it's like older mentors who are dying to help because they remember when they were young and starting businesses and how tough it was and how much guidance is needed and how much organization. I think that the looking at the riches in a negative light is kind of pushed on us. Because if you think about what money is and what abundance is, that can never be evil, can never be negative, because it allows you to be more of yourself. So from that lens alone, it should be neutral. So if you're an evil person and you have money, you're just going to be more evil. But if you're an angel, right, and you have money, you're just going to be more of an angel. You see what I'm saying? You're going to give more opportunities. So being able to have, let's say one day we have $1 billion come in. Being the impact, the change that you can have with $1 billion, not to say that we all need to go for that, but I don't think enough of us go for money in general. I think it solves all the problems. It solves the majority of the problems. Money solves all money problems, and there's a lot of money problems, right? But once you get the money and you get past the money problems, it allows you to then get comfortable about figuring out the rest of your life, because there's problems that money can't solve. But the problems that money can solve, it solves them.
That's
right?
facts.
I'm the biggest advocate for getting to a check, getting a bag. Anybody that's around me, you're going to continue to hear me say get to a bag, because it's money's spiritual energy, right? If I'm God, once again, and I have an opportunity to bless the people underneath me, I would need to give them a medium in which would allow them to experience things around them, right? Money is that medium, whether it's gold, silver, however you want to slice and dice. This is the beginning of time. To be organized, there has to be a medium that we exchange, right? Which means that it came from somewhere else. That's not something that came from us if it was predetermined that we have to act that way, right? So money, one of the things for me when I started to transition my mind is I started going to these meetings, just going to different places. I had tons of mentors that was, trying to help me out, but I wasn't really trying to hear them. I'm like, whatever, that's not meant for me, or it's a negative life, or I don't want to be associated with the things that I associated being rich to in my mind. Then I sat there one day for weeks on end, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Because if I had money, it'll fix my problem. So why am I not? I'm like, and then this is what got me. I said, who's been telling me to not get money? And then it's every single time it's been those who don't have any.
Yeah.
Why would I listen to someone, and it's not to be disrespectful or rude, it just goes back to what I was saying earlier about perspectives. Why would I listen to someone who physically doesn't have money tell me how to get money? or the value of money or how important it is. Literally doesn't make sense. Because if you're not able to have money yourself or handle it yourself, you will never have the perspective that I should listen to. I always tell people, I don't listen to anyone who hasn't proven themselves worthy to me. Not because I'm trying to be rude, but it's because I understand that this information, I'm going to be living my life with it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not credible, I'm not taking a word you say serious.
Negative.
Right? Because if you don't know how to handle money, I've had tons of people come up to me and say, you care about profit and, that's bad. I said, you don't care about the money to take care of your family? That sounds insane. Yeah. I don't want to be anywhere near you. This is a liability. You see what I'm saying? But it's just based on perspective and trying to figure that out. And the more and more I realize that this is a narrative we created, it's hard to get money. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. But once you get past a certain hump, it becomes easy. But when you're first getting past that hump, it's hard because you're not getting past the money hump. You're getting past your own thoughts. Right. That's what makes it hard. Right? It's because I don't deserve that. Money is only for rich people. I'm not evil, so therefore I don't. It's all excuses. Because if you really face it, you realize that money is God. Money gives you abundance. Money gives you opportunities. Why would I not be focused on that thing? Why is that not the number one priority? If my family can be better because I can pay this bill so that they don't have to worry about it, why would I not want my finances in alignment to be able to handle those things? That's an excuse. That's a weaker thought process. So I try to stay in alignment with, if there's a higher thought process, I'm always trying to get to that. If there's a weaker one, I try to get rid of it. So which thought process would I rather have? That if I have capital, I'm able to handle business, take care of my family, do the things that I want, build opportunities for my friends and people that I care about? Or do I want to say money's evil and not be able to build companies that give opportunities to people who deserve them, not be able to take care of my family, not be able to do these things? Yeah. That doesn't even make sense. If you put it out loud, it sounds stupid.
All right.
So we've just been in the business of calling these things out and taking them serious, right? And the spiritual energy from money is not talked about a lot, but it is. That's how we get ahead. That's how you get opportunities. That's how we get opportunities. Yeah. If God wants to bless us, that's why randomly, when you're praying to God for, man, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this bill, and then all of a sudden it's a random tax claim that you did 5 years ago, all of a sudden now it presents itself in your bank account for the exact amount needed to pay the bill that you were praying for. If that's not God, then I don't know what is. You see what I'm saying? So it's from that lens, I think we get caught up in that a lot, viewing it from a negative standpoint, not understanding that there's a whole opposite viewpoint, which is positive, and we could choose to view it from that way.
So question for you. So one of the things we've learned on our journey is that a lot of us float around with thought processes that aren't ours, right? And kind of alluding what he was talking about with identifying the thought processes and sitting back and saying, where did this come from? For you, how important has realize, like, thinking about like how you truly feel, like, for instance, the rich people, right? And like, is this my thought, and is this something that I want to push forward with, or is there a different perspective to look at this at? How important has that been for you on your internal journey?
Oh, that's been super important. I've been reading a lot about presence and being present, being in the moment. Mm-hmm. And one book describes it as no mind, a state of no mind. Mm. So learning how to turn my thoughts off. So I'm not even operating through my or other people's thoughts or my thoughts, but being in the moment and letting the correct energy and spirit flow through me is that's been like major for me. Learning how to be present, even like right now, like trying to be in this moment instead of thinking about what I need to say. But yeah, that's been huge for me.
What are some things you've had to work on to learn to be more present?
To not think about the past and future.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not thinking about the perspectives that I've adopted from somewhere, like that the rich people thing, and not thinking about so far in the future where I'm creating anxiety or fear for myself that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I the more I'm in the present, I feel like my decisions are guiding me in the right way.
Yeah.
Rather than me acting off of a thought.
Yeah, because even the right way, right? We say, oh, what's right? But like,
Right.
I feel like right is determined based off of where you decided you want your life to go, right? Like no one else can really tell you what right is because I'm not doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be the best in the lane that you're supposed to be in, just like I need to strive to be the best that I'm. And there's things that overlap, right? But overall, right depends on where you're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? You agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
It's all perspective based, and the perspectives aren't. We need to change our perspectives. I'm big on that. I look for perspective changes daily, right? Like not because I don't want to waste time on a thought process that doesn't make sense to hold up someone else's pride or my own. Right? I don't care if it's my grandmother's dying wish that I think of things this way. If she was wrong, she was wrong.
Yeah.
I love her to death. It has nothing to do with our relationship. She might have just been wrong. Based on the information she had at this time, might have been the case. Or based on whatever it might be, information changes. Right? And I think we're not taught to be fluid. That's why I was talking about earlier with the class on how to learn. Because it's like, oh, that wasn't what I was expecting. Well, how to learn is like, well, what is it? Now that I didn't get the thing that I was expecting, what is this now that I have it, right? Can I view it from this angle? Can I view it from this angle? Can I look at it from below? Can I look at it from above? Oh, from above, this perspective means it's this, and that makes the most sense for my future. What happens is we get perspectives, we look at it head on without asking for other opinions or asking for the wrong opinions. Right? It's like, I love my mom, but I don't go to her for business strategy. I never will. There would never be a time that I go to her for business strategy. Now, if I need help with life and my spirit and talking to my higher self, she's my mentor all day long. I'm going to go to her and sit with her and be like, hey, like, I haven't been able to do this. That's what she's good at, right? But I don't go to people for the things that they're not good at, right? And everybody kind of thinks that as like, they didn't feel bad about it or like, damn, I couldn't provide this. One of the things I appreciated the most about my mom is she never lied about her skill level. Right? So if she didn't understand something, it'd be like, I don't understand. Can someone help? Who does understand? That person, hey, my son wants to learn chess. I don't even know what that is. But you know how to do it, and he's adamant about learning it. Please teach my son how to play chess. And is there a deal that we can strike in order to get my son the chess skills that he needs so that he can perform? Or when I wanted to learn how to play piano, we didn't have any resources for piano, but there's a teacher who knew how to play piano, and my mom worked that deal with him to be able to teach me how to play piano. Right? It's just, hey, he wants to learn this. There's an after-school program. You want to teach it. I can go talk to the school if you're willing to teach it, and the program could be set up. And they set the program up. And I was the only student in the class. Right? So going back to that piece is like we can do whatever we want to do, but we also have to be honest about the steps. And we also have to be honest about where we're getting that information. If it's not a credible source in that thing, don't take it. Right? Don't take the info. And I think that gets pushed on us a lot where it's like, oh, my father told me that, or my mom told me that, or my uncle told me that. So what? If they're wrong, they're wrong. Right.
So another question for you. So you're in business, we're in business, that's how we met. And like one of the things that Trust talked about earlier is having to continually evolve. And one of the things that we've seen and continue to try to do is increase like the amount of processes, procedures, and things we put in place to like make things make sense. And like there's things that might start, kind of how you said, that work for us, but to get to a next level, like that thing has to get cut off and it has to advance to something else. How have you experienced that with like reorganizing and restructuring and getting things better for your business?
Can you ask that question one more time?
Yeah, like have you implemented any new things within the last year that like have helped you kind of increase the value of the product that you're putting out while like not having to stress you out? Like it helped increase your potency or your dangerousness without stressing you out or adding more to your plate. Like you became more organized, like you got structure, like things that you're implementing. Wow, this made this better, and I don't have to do this again because this is here. identifying things to make things simpler for you, but not losing their impact?
Yes, I think the first thing that popped out to me is what you said earlier about employees and hiring.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like I didn't want to take advantage of somebody or underpay somebody, or so that was a big thing for me to get over. But yeah, hiring a gallery manager, when I need help, being able to ask for it, I have people to help me with my shows and my vendor events that I do. So I guess the simple answer for that would be like delegating, learning that. That's definitely was a game changer for me. Well, it still is. I'm in the process of still learning that, but in the last year, that's been the biggest thing.
So what's that process been like? Because that's something that I think everybody, whether you're listening or in here now listening, has struggled with delegation at some point, because you get to that point where like, nobody can do it like me, right? I'm the only one that could do it correctly. How has that learning curve been for you, learning to delegate? Like, what have you learned so far from this experience?
I've learned to trust people, trust the process, and I've learned how important my time is.
Mm-hmm.
When I met Tells, I remember him saying one of the first conversations we had is nothing like getting all of your time back, like buying all of your time back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the process of figuring that out now, how to do that. But yeah, I think trust is the biggest thing. That was the biggest hurdle, because a lot of my work, my paintings, the gallery, my whole business is my baby.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody else's hands on it.
Mm-hmm.
I want it done a certain way.
Yeah.
I want my reputation to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So hiring people or trusting somebody to take care of a big part of what I've built for years is what was and still is like super hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So trust is the main thing.
Mm.
Trusting this whole process and understanding that it's way bigger than me. Removing myself out of it.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I was like trying to build something around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to realize that it's like everything that's happening is coming from everybody and it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that was big for me too.
Mm.
I like that, coming from everybody because it's for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to write that one down. We're going to have to write that one down.
Nah, so you mentioned trust. One of the things is like, as you're building and you're hiring more employees and staff members, it's critical, because we all go through that phase of feeling like we're taking advantage. It's natural, because if you're a good person, you don't want to seem like you're putting things on others. That's a natural experience.
Yeah.
So one day I'm like, okay, I can't be walking around feeling this way. I don't like it. All right, so we got to address this, and we got to find a framework to address it around. And for me, I started to really ask myself and started looking at some of our staff members that, went from having, sleeping in their cars to like feeding their families, taking care, like buying houses, like really transforming their life. How do they get an opportunity to transform their life if they're not employed underneath a system that makes them get better?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's because I flash back to the times where I used to work at Models. I think about that often, right? I used to mop the floors. I was like the best salesman on the floor. I used to take it super serious in the spot. And I think about how far I've come from there, but how much I used to use the skills that I learned from Models. Right? When people came in, I had customer service skills that I learned. I knew how to work the register. I knew what a business was operating. I saw inventory. When everybody was in there looking around and being like, oh, tired of being here, is like, nah, I saw inventory. I saw people who knew what they were doing. I saw processes being in place. I saw organization. I seen what was happening, right? And I took those lessons. So as we're building up, and I think about the fact, what if someone was selfish and did not give me that opportunity? They didn't let me mop the floors. It's not degrading. Me mopping the floors made me realize like how detailed things need to be, and all the important parts of an organization that you won't see. All right, you'll come into the spot and be like, hey, the floors look really nice in here. Well, somebody had to clean that. Right? And if you're going to be in the spot, show them some respect.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And that was something that I had to really learn from that standpoint, is like having staff members and employees is how you allow other people to grow. It's selfish if you don't give opportunities. Because we can go. I was in real estate originally, killing it. But that's just me killing it, working myself to death, not sharing the spoils with anyone. That's why it's killing me, because God designed us to be together. So I'm out here running up a check by myself, dying, because you're not designed to be in that manner. You know what I'm saying? It's designed to when you start to get overwhelmed. Well, my assistant, Ebony, love her to death, always, forever. Right? She was my first assistant. I started getting overwhelmed, and Ebony was looking for opportunity. It'd be selfish of me to not give her the opportunity. I need help with organizing my things, the thing that she's good at. So I'm not going to hand that off to her because I don't want to take advantage of her. And that's when it hit for me. Is like, oh, you're not. That's just, once again, you're a good guy and you're feeling nervous about a new prospect or a new thing and you don't want to mess it up. That doesn't make you a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because how does she get ahead if I don't give her the opportunity to get ahead? Right? So that transitioned my whole thought processes on having staff members. I look for it all day long. I look for killers all day long because they're going to get their opportunity with me. And whether we say it in an interview all the time, whether you stay with us a day, 2 days, a year, 5 years, or however long you want to stay, you're going to leave us better than when you came. And that's the exchange, right? Because the value isn't just in a check. That's where the mistakes happen. It's like, I paid you an amount, you did your job, go home. Nah, there's an established amount, but then I could also give you knowledge currency. Where just by sitting next to me, you'll learn how to run up a bag. Just by sitting there. So you're getting what you're getting, but that's the proving ground. That's the skill level you're at, unfortunately. But there are higher skill levels to get to. And if you get there, these are the things that are promised. If you learn how to do a deal, this is how you can do it, right? So giving out, there's different forms of currency. And I think as we're building our companies up, it's important to understand that employees and staff members can get paid in those currencies as well, right? So it's not just a monetary amount. It's about literally leveling someone's life up. So if they come with us and they learn how to learn, and now they can learn how to make, some money on the side or do whatever they want on the side, or even learn about themselves, learn how to journal. And that internal journaling leads them to realizing a special skill that they had. Right? It's like, how would they have gotten that had they not been here? Right? Yeah. So that was something that I think about often. And that was how it helped me cope with that, because I never wanted to be viewed as a person who's taking advantage of others. And it was keeping me up at night. I said, I got to really deal with this and understand what this is. And once again, it's just another excuse that we make to keep ourselves negative. But the truth is, like, we're giving opportunities. We're building people up. We have several people who've worked for us that's making six figures now, running off into their lives, doing their thing, killing it in the different projects that they've decided to do, left here as servers to go start their own businesses and organizations. Like that, if that's not God's work, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? So I from our lens, I take that employment serious now, because I finally had that perspective switch.
And like the things that I get, I don't really just get things like even the grills and smokers. Yeah, I enjoy it, but I enjoy more about the fact that it brings people together that I care about and I can feed them.